Ashes of Typhon Redux is going to be the map that we're looking at today. A rather foggy Ashes of Typhon Redux. Astartes is playing as the Aversa Assassin, and he's going to be going up against Bullyhan as the Hive Tyrant. Now, I would say this is a pretty tricky matchup for the Ordo Malleus. I think in general, Hive Tyrant is a bit of a bugger for them, but on a big map like this, the Ordo Malleus troops aren't fast. They're resilient, they're robust, but they're not numerous and they're not quick. He does have the advantage of having access to a Razorback in Tier 2, which is notoriously good against the Tyranids. They are only bugs after all. If you want to kill a load of animals, what are you going to do? You're going to get in your car, you're going to ram them. Or drive away from them. You're not going to pick up your power sword and try and melee them, generally.
Our victory point is encroached by Tyranids.
The Hive Tyrant obviously has that Venom Cannon, but he's really slow, so really he shouldn't be catching a Razorback. So we'll see how he handles that. Now, this is good. Hunting for isolated Hormagaunts early on with the Aversa Assassin. Uses his Psychon ability for the extra damage. That does buff his Bolt Pistol as well, not just the Chainsword. Or whatever that weapon is that he has. Is it a Chainsword? Yeah, looks like a Chainsword to me. Yeah, it's a Chainsword. So the problem early on is double Hormers, if they're together, will easily annihilate your Grey Knight Strike Squad, which obviously costs basically the same as the Hormers, but Hormers are moving at speed 6.25, and they're cheaper individually. They're basically similar in cost together as the Strikes, but they're moving faster, and obviously they're 2 units, so they can cap twice as quick. This presents a map control problem for the Grey Knights. Now, in this scenario, it's nice because he can 1v1 Hormers easily, which is why I don't really like what Bullyhan's doing here. But he's having to do it because he has only 2 gaunts at the start for some reason. That's his build, which is certainly unusual. But if he had an extra Terma, they could be the ones capping up top, and then the 2 Hormers could go together and they would hunt down the Strike Squad. Whereas right now, they've got to just retreat from the Strike Squad. Basically, these guys would only have to run away from the Hive Tyrant, and even then, the Hive Tyrant doesn't have very good damage when chasing stuff. Not a good map for the Hive Tyrant, I have to be honest. Not really. Warriors leap in, disrupt the Aversa Assassin, then back off. Basically, waiting out his Psychon ability. Negating it. Making him regret taking that damage. They're going to leap in again. Hormers en route. The Aversa Assassin needs to leave. Yeah, the Grey Knights would come in, but a little late. Oh, wow. Is he going to drop? No. Close. Literally one more hit from a Hormer would have got it there. But here we go. We've got the flank coming. We've got the Purgation and double IST. Bullyhan hasn't seen it. I mean, I wonder. Was it just the IST he's seen that made the Hormers retreat? Doesn't realise there's Purgation coming. Now, if he's split up, he should be pretty decent. Yeah, Hormers get in. They bully their way through. And the ranged units have to retreat. So good damage there on the Warriors. Soften them up. No bleed for the Ordo Malleus. They only destroyed a node. I don't know why he went for the node first and not the gens, but there you go. And the Strike Squad are going to retreat as well to defend the gen farm, presumably, because that's where the Hormers will swarm to. I think they are aware they're not going to have a lot of time to bash, so he's going to prioritise going for these side points instead. Obviously, more time to bash that node, because it'll take longer for the Ordo Malleus troops to get over there. And then Raveners, which will be good to pop IST from afar with their Devourers, and also focus fire the Aversa Assassin, especially relevant in Tier 2. He's not that scary in melee right now, but in Tier 2 he will be quite fearsome. And you really don't want to melee him there. Nice to have another tool to shoot him down from afar. So, I think I don't really like what Bullyhan's build is all about. He seems really slow in tech. Like, Astartes right now going Tier 2 already. If you're only running a double Hormer opening with 2 gaunts, I don't understand how you don't have your 5th squad out yet when an Ordo Malleus is going tier 2. Now granted, the Ordo Malleus has got no upgrades whatsoever, which is fine. He doesn't need it, does he? Clearly, he's doing fine. He's behind on the VPs, but look, you're going to be. This map's too big. It's really hard to compete with Tyranids on a huge map like this. Their move speed's just so good. Once Astartes gets his Razorback in tier 2, and presumably a Grey Knight Librarian as well, who can then protect these ranged assets, he'll be very good. You know, you just put down the Sanctuary bubble, and all of a sudden, these Purgation can't be tied up. Get some Plasma Guns on these guys to pop the Warriors, Psy Cannon on the Purgation, and then these guys can run around the Strike Squad with a Justicar, and when they get the Justicar, they can take on double Homers on their own. So that's how it works. Now obviously, if the Warriors are nearby with Adrenal Glands, they can... I don't know how they'd fare against Strike Squad. I'm sure they'd win because of the knockback CC, but it'd be a tough fight. I'm actually hoping we get to see that. I don't know how I don't know who would win that. Strike Squad are incredibly tough with their Justicar, and he does have that power melee to pop the Warriors, but I'm sure if you just cycle charge the Warriors, you'll be fine. If you stay in melee combat, you might not be. Okay, this is a bad fight. Look at the burst damage from the Raveners, man. And then you got to remember, they're not bad in melee. Look at them claws. So, retreating through them is a scary prospect there. And that's why it's tough for the Aversa Assassin in the matchup. You'll often see him pick up the Neurotoxin Pistol, hug cover, and then just try and shoot the vulnerable light infantry armor of the Raveners. If you do kill a Ravener, it's very expensive. But here we go. That's what you want to tank the Raveners with. Strike Squad. And we have the Razorback in play. Triple cap against Astartes, though. Bullyhan is tier 2. Has a Venom Brood coming. No Venom Cannon on the Hive Tyrant. So he just has to zone for now. Zone out. With the Homers. Not really achieving a whole lot though in melee with an Aversa Assassin. Just going to feed him XP. And as I say, once he gets these tier 2 gears, he'll actually become fearsome. He's a little bit too squishy still. Doesn't quite do the damage either, but certainly with this Neuro Gauntlet, he's going to do... Like, these scenarios where he really will shine with this Neuro Gauntlet, he will just be shredding that Hive Tyrant. Whereas right now, the Chainsaw just isn't it. He needs to be careful though, because he's going to get knocked over by the Warriors. The lack of knockback immunity is a bit of a problem. Did he really just use Hypermetabolism? Oh, I don't think he needed to use that. What a waste of a red. Global. Anyway, we've got fighting going on all over the place. For some reason, the Strike Squad are just trying to cap the point. There's no Warriors here, so the Strikes should do pretty damn good, especially with the Razorback. They just need to proc some specials. A little slow on the specials. Yeah, that... Oh, no, he's not fighting! You gotta fight, man. There you go, there's a special attack. Oh, man. He lost a lot of health there running and not fighting. Oh, God. Oh, God. And even the Venom Brood do okay damage in melee. Wow. Whoa, he's gonna lose them! Oh, what a fuck-up. Greedy from Astartes. Way too deep with them on their own, isolated. Going for the power cap. Why? He's got loads of power. He still has his gens. It's not like he got fully bashed. I don't understand it. You've got to, against Nids, just consolidate your forces. When you start getting all your tools in tier 2, when you've got your Razorback, you've got Plasma Guns, you've got Psy Cannons that you can put in the Razorback, and you've got a Strike Squad and this dude to counter-initiate, you'll dominate the AVA fights, and the Tyranid will be forced to try and just win on map. So, you just need to blob more. I hate to say it, but that's what you need to do. Okay, we're setting up a good situation to try and grab this Razorback though. Venom's on the flank. And obviously, we've got to arc around this way. It doesn't look like there's anything to support the Razorback. It's probably... Well, it's going to be RNG, because the Venoms are moving, so they're 50% far on the move. Yeah, they get it. It's the rear armor. Yeah, this is bad for Astartes. I think he's playing this quite poorly. He needs to consolidate more. I don't know why it was so aggressive over here with no support. That's what you need the Terminator Librarian for, man. You can run into melee, type that Venom Brood, and then you can use Sanctuary to zone out an area. Obviously, if the Aversa Assassin was over there, he could do something similar. Not quite got the same area denial, because no Sanctuary, but still, he will pop those models nice and fast with that 80 power melee DPS and 12.5 DPS damage over time piercing. That stacks. So let's see how much damage he's doing. I told you, this is the use of it. Look at that. And he's not even used Psychon for the 30% extra damage, man. There we go. Finally uses it. Hive Tyrant gets the decap. Tanky boy. Holy shit. Wow. That swing there seemed to do a massive chunk of damage. I don't think he can quite... No. He's using hypermetabolism again. Chemnade. A little late on the Chemnade. But it does secure his retreat. If he used that earlier, he might have been able to bleed some models there. Bit of a shame. Purifiers do come out, though. I like Purifiers against Tyranids. They're pretty damn good. I mean, they're just superior to Strike Squad, pretty much. They're superior melee fighters. Big AoE, not back on the specials from the Justicar due to the Thunderhammer. He is heavy melee as well, which allows you to kill Tyrant Guards in Shield Wall. And then the 3 sword dudes in the squad are all power melee. So they will kill Tyrant Guards and Venom Brood and Warriors pretty damn fast. The AoE ability denial, not so good though. Okay, but this is way too many things for them to fight. What the fuck? Going headfirst into a Tyrant Guard like that. Getting shot up by everything in the back. Disruption from the lead. Too much, man. He needs to get some firing lines sorted. Automalice do have access to firing lines. Get some plasma guns on your IST. Pick up the Psy Cannon on the Purgation. And then you can protect them with your Terminator Librarian. Basically, Astartes' army should be around here all the time. And the EA should be guarding to counter-initiate any melee. Instead of the EA running off down the side, he should have been guarding against the melee when things like a Tyrant Guard charge in. Oh, we've got a Death Spitter now as well. Yeah, that's what the... That we're doing quite significant damage to the Purifiers there. One Venom Brood. One Death Spitter. Quite expensive to get range synapse just for a Ravener Brood, but okay. Not sure I'd have bothered. Okay, Ravener's pretty far forward here. Going to take a lot of focus fire. However, Purgation's setting up very close range. But they're just going to bully the Tyrant Guard. There goes the ability from the Purifiers. Prevents the Tyrant Guard from being able to enter Shield Wall or charge away. But, ooh, they just get it with the Purgation fire. But now the Sanctuary wears off and the Tyranid melee can swarm through. What was the bleed there? Oh god, it was immense. It was immense. 2 Purifier models and a Justicar killed. That's pretty damn bad. I mean, he got the Tyrant Guard, but he's falling too far behind on VPs. If he still had the Razorback, this could be out here, putting pressure on the sidelines. Basically, the Strike Squad should have been the thing that puts pressure on the sidelines, and the Aversa Assassin should have been there in that fight then. And he could have done this. He could have used the Bio Meltdown. That was a bit of an overreaction from Bullyhan. He didn't have to retreat to the Bio Meltdown Aversa Assassin right there. But he did. Okay, so... I mean, a big problem for Astartes right now is lack of map control. He's needing to use these IST as combat efficient units. Combat effective units with these plasma guns, and there's nothing against that, but he obviously needs to cap the wreck. Losing the Strike Squad, in other words, hurt him quite a lot. You need the EA in the main fights to drop Chemnades to shut down the Tyranid melee blob. I mean, it reduces the damage of those Hormers and Warriors by 50%. That is incredible. Remember, that stacks with the 40% damage resistance that you have from melee resist anyway as Purifier Squad. So the actual damage output then, I mean, it's so low. Very low. So it just lets you stall They can tank while you output damage with your ranged assets. But you can see, against Hormers, these IST with only plasma guns and no Sarge or Acolyte, they're just not doing enough output. So they only really exist to try and pop Synapse and win the fight in that manner. But this is good. He baits the Tyranids back because he wants to establish ranged superiority, and then the Tyranids have to engage on his terms closer to his base, and that gives him a nice defender's advantage. Once again, you see, because of the lack of a Razorback or a Strike Squad, his Aversa Assassin is having to run down to sidecap. Terrible. To use an expensive hero like this, who really comes online in tier 2 with this war gear and a really nice AVA accessory, to use him to fight Hormagaunts, who are both cheaper and faster than him, really not a good use of the Aversa Assassin. I don't think he has much else he could use. Maybe an IST, but then they lose to the Hormers, so it's very awkward. He needs the Razorback, and of course that would have been the job of the Strike Squad as well, but there you go. So Terminator Librarian should go tie up the Venom Brood. While these guys are distracted, Plasmas should focus fire the Warriors or the Venom Brood. Both work. That's some really good damage from the Power Swords and the Purifiers. Look at that. Gets a couple of those Warrior Brood models, and it looks like this Tyrant Guard might be screwed right now. Again, catches him with the ability from the Purifiers. No charge or shield wall for you. That's what's so strong about Purifiers, man. Beautifully done. Power Swords to rip through the Tyranids' bigger entities, and that psychic ability to make the Tyrant Guard freak out and be unable to charge or shield wall. And suddenly, the composition not looking that bad. Now Bullyhan, I don't know what he's doing here with all these Venom Broods. He's just spamming Death Spitters. But Death Spitters will not trade that well if Astartes decides to go for some nice IST upgrades, which he should. He should get the Acolyte. It gives him another model for HP and a little bit of DPS, but most importantly, passively gives him range damage resistance. So suddenly, they will trade very well against the Inferno damage Death Spitters, especially if they can reinforce off of a Razorback. And of course, the Death Spitters themselves don't kill the Razorback either, so that's something to consider. But yeah, without the Acolyte, they are still very squishy. They do a lot of damage, but they're glass cannons, essentially. This is probably going to be a decent engagement here, charging right into the Psy Cannon. Psy Cannon needs to click on the Warriors, try and focus fire them. IST get compromised, though, unfortunately. They should have gotten the Razorback. Okay, and Purifiers and Terminator Librarian rotate to deal with the Raveners. The Raveners have gone too deep. Will he get a wipe? No, not quite. Here comes the Aversa Assassin, though, in the back lines. Psychon active. A lot of damage on the Aversa Assassin. He is shredding one of those Venom Broods. Oh, gets CC'd though by Rending Talons and the Hive Tyrant. Very late Rending Talons. I think the Aversa Assassin would have been better off going after one of them. No, I'm wrong! Oh my god, he wipes the Warrior Brood. Huge damage coming out of this guy right now. Absolutely phenomenal damage. Look at the damage. This is what the Aversa Assassin does best. You know, you spend a lot of the early game just running around trying to hope you kill a couple of Hormagaunts with your bolt pistol. When he starts leveling up though in tier 2, getting those powerful pieces of kit, oh, he comes online. Look at all these Death Spitters, man. Not doing that much against the Purifiers. I mean, it is only double Death Spitters. Still. IST need to get out of the base. A lot of resources for Astartes. Oh wow, what is he doing here? Walks Death Spitters right into Purifier Power Swords. Oh, I don't think the Raveners can go in on their own either. There's no melee Synapse. Yeah, they're getting spanked. Okay, the Purifiers are starting to drop models to the Death Spitters at last. Oh my god, what is he doing? Just trying to win on VPs right now? I don't know about that. Yeah, that was a bit ridiculous to start. He's fucking hell. Homers have got down here, nothing's going to deal with it, but the Razorback can rotate. The Homers will certainly get the decap, but probably not the cap. That will slow down the bleed for Bullyhan quite a lot. 70 VPs left, ticking down fast. He needs to get on those VPs. These, just resorting to spamming Death Spitters was not a good idea by Bullyhan. He had a lot of time, he could have got a form back Carnifex out. Though, to be honest, I don't even know how well that would have done. Versa Assassin's great because you can pick up melter bombs. And now, of course, there is a Grey Knight Dreadnought coming, which itself wouldn't do too shabbily against a Carnifex. Purgation Side Cannon setting up once again. Really nice tool, this. Very good single target damage. Oh, he's going to lose him there. Boom.
Our demon hunter has advanced in strength.
At least he claimed a Ravener with a Bio Meltdown, I guess. This is strange, the melee Ravs. I don't really understand that. Did he get the melee synapse in the end? He was running around with warriors without melee synapse for a long time. I think he might have got it in the end. I suppose it wasn't that bad of an idea while he had the melee synapse. Just a shame he lost that. Yeah, so what are the IST doing exactly? We've got one IST here that's inside the Razorback. I was going to say they need to get repairing that shit. So we can throw out a Chemnade and try and zone all these fucking Death Spitters. Okay, the Aversa Assassin is dead. Okay, no, he lives. Hypermetabolism. Purgation unfortunately setting up the wrong way, but here we go. We've got a melee Dreadnought pursuing. There's only one actual Venom cannon, and it's separating from the blob. Nice and easy to spot. Dreadnought just chases that one. Yep, Plasma is hurting, and the Power Sword and the Terminator Librarian also hurts. A lot of tools here to kill the warriors, which is why you might question going for quadruple Venom Brood, you know. And somehow Bullyhan is going to lose it. That's honestly kind of incredible. I'm shocked. He killed the Razorback so fast, and on a map like this, that's very hard. Purifiers, I have to say, did amazing. I mean, they completely shut down the Tyrant Guard, but for the same reason that the Tyranids are very good on this map, Tyrant Guards are not very good on this map. It's a very big map. So if you are the Tyranids and your base is over here, and your Tyrant Guard is fighting down here at a crucial engagement on a push to the farm, or because you've got a melee-based build, because at that point he had double homers and melee warriors, he didn't have all these Death Spitters. If you want to force off the enemy, you've got to commit quite deep, right? And your Tyrant Guard is ending up here. Well, to get from here all the way back to here, man, that's a long distance for a Tyrant Guard that's very slow. I know obviously you have Hive Tyrant, you've got Venoms and Warriors to try and boost his speed, but it's risky. And the Purifiers, using their ability at the right time to shut down your ability to charge or use Shield Wall, is so effective. And even if you do get Shield Wall off, you aren't safe. They don't have to buy proper AV. This does really good AV damage. Basically the same damage as a las cannon, just obviously it doesn't snare like a las cannon. And then the Thunder Hammer on the Purifiers does heavy melee. And that alone, the combination of these two, which are very good against infantry, is perfectly sufficient to kill your Tyrant Guard and Shield Wall. And not to mention, if the Plasma starts killing some warriors nearby, your Tyrant Guard's going to lose 10% of its health. So I think the Tyrant Guard on a map like this is the wrong call. I know people meme on them, and I know everyone thinks they're rubbish, but I really think Gene Stealers are a better shout. They don't bleed that much, man, and they're fast. Gene Stealers are as fast as Hormagaunts. So you run Gene Stealers plus warriors down here, Strike Squad have got absolutely no chance. No chance against them. Gene Stealers will fare a lot better against Purifiers than the Tyrant Guard. And they also don't take bonus damage from the Plasma. They take reduced damage because they're light infantry. So there's a lot of value there for the Gene Stealers. If he invested more in the IST, you might be able to justify Zone Throps. Zone Throps obviously would counter the Purgation. You can use the Focus Warp Blast to CC the Aversa Assassin. So one of the big weaknesses of the Aversa Assassin, a lot of people complain about him, you know, when you see him doing all this crazy damage and he uses Bio Meltdown, blah, blah, blah. But he's constantly vulnerable to knockback and suppression until he gets his tier 3 Friends on Armor. And at first I really thought the Friends on Armor was crap, because it costs a fortune, and it's only giving you that which the Hive Tyrant has by default. But the sheer speed of this guy and the damage potential of him, man, when you give him suppression and knockback immunity, it's amazing. But that's tier 3, so Focus Warp Blast in tier 2 sends him flying backwards. So you can protect your Venom Brood, essentially, while it's trying to hunt down a Razorback. No excuses for Astartes losing that Razorback. That was very poor play. I think in general Astartes pushed way too deep a lot of the time against Tyranids. It's part of why I wanted to see this replay. You really need to consolidate your forces. I think Astartes should have had his main army in sort of this area, or maybe this area, for 75% of the game. And he should have had an IST down here, or a strike squad down here, or a Razorback down this end. He shouldn't have had the Aversa Assassin down here, really at all. But there you go, folks. That's going to be all for your Torpid this time. Hope you enjoyed. I am signing out.